Did you know that the James Webb Space Telescope recently pointed its lens at Mars? This was a big deal because the telescope is so powerful that it can take pictures of Mars that no one has ever seen before. In this video, we'll take a look at some of the images that the James Webb Space Telescope took of Mars, and learn more about what they tell us about the red planet. Make sure to watch till the end so that you don't miss any of the interesting facts. The images of Mars that JWST has taken are fascinating. They show the planet's surface in great detail, including features such as the Valles Marineris canyon system. The pictures also reveal the Martian moons Phobos and Deimos, as well as the planet's two small satellites, Naiad and Thalassa. JWST's observations of Mars have helped scientists learn more about the planet's composition and climate, and have even given them new insights into its potential for habitability. The thermal emission and atmosphere of Mars are captured in these pictures by the JWST, or James Webb Space Telescope. The red planet's surface is heated by the sun during the day and then cools off at night. The temperature difference between the two extremes creates a daily cycle of atmospheric turbulence that can be observed in the movement of the clouds. The JWST's observations of Mars show that the planet has a thin atmosphere made up mostly of carbon dioxide, with a small amount of water vapor and other trace gases. The atmospheric pressure is only about 1% of Earth's, making it a very hostile environment for life as we know it. However, there is evidence that Mars was once much more hospitable, with a thicker atmosphere and liquid water on its surface. The JWST's observations will help scientists to better understand the current state of Mars and how it got to be the way it is today. Thermal emission is radiation emitted from an object due to its temperature. The hotter an object is, the more thermal radiation it emits. The atmosphere of Mars is mostly carbon dioxide, which has a strong absorption band in the infrared region of the electromagnetic spectrum. This means that most of the thermal radiation emitted by Mars's surface is absorbed by the atmosphere and doesn't reach us here on Earth. However, some of the thermal radiation does escape the atmosphere and can be observed by telescopes like the JWST. Another thing revealed by the pictures taken by the James Webb Telescope is the spectrum of light emitted by Mars. This can help scientists understand what elements are present in the atmosphere of Mars and how they interact with each other. For example, water vapor absorbs certain wavelengths of light, so its presence can be inferred by looking at where these wavelengths are missing from the spectrum. By studying the spectrum of light from Mars, scientists can learn a great deal about its atmosphere and what it might be like to live on the red planet. Mars is the fourth planet from the Sun and the second smallest planet in the solar system, after Mercury. In English, Mars carries the name of the Roman god of war and is often referred to as the red planet because the iron oxide prevalent on its surface gives it a reddish appearance. The days and seasons are likewise comparable to those of Earth because Mars's axial tilt is similar to Earth's. However, the length of a day on Mars, 24 hours, 39 minutes, 35.244 seconds, is very close to 1/3 of an Earth day, 24 hours. The James Webb Space Telescope, JWST, is the largest telescope ever launched into space. It took some of the very first pictures of Mars with its infrared camera. These are false color images, which means that different colors have been assigned to different types of light. Red shows areas that are warm, while blue and violet show cooler areas. The pictures were taken recently, just a few days after JWST arrived in its orbit around the Sun. The Webb telescope observed Mars in infrared light, which allowed scientists to study the planet's atmosphere, surface features, and interior in greater detail than ever before. Additionally, by studying Mars in multiple wavelengths of light, scientists were able to piece together a more complete picture of the planet's history and evolution. The James Webb Space Telescope faced many challenges when taking pictures of Mars. One difficulty was exposure. Because Mars is a much hotter planet than Earth, the telescope had to be exposed for less time to prevent the image from being overexposed and blurred. This made it difficult to get clear images of the planet's surface. Another challenge was the planet's atmosphere. Mars has a very thin atmosphere, which can cause light to scatter and distort images. Finally, The distance between Mars and Earth can also make it difficult to get clear images. At times, the two planets are more than 60 million kilometers apart. Despite these challenges, the James Webb Space Telescope was still able to take some stunning images of Mars. The pictures taken by the James Webb Telescope are important because they can help us understand the atmosphere of Mars and what it might be like to live on the red planet. By studying the spectrum of light from Mars, scientists can learn a great deal about its atmosphere and how different elements interact with each other. This information is important for understanding the habitability of Mars and whether it could support life as we know it. Additionally, the pictures provide stunning views of another world that remind us of the vastness and beauty of our universe. Finally, the pictures taken by the James Webb Telescope can help us better prepare for future missions to Mars, should we ever decide to send humans to explore the red planet. Prior to this, several other methods have been used in an attempt to study the Martian atmosphere. One method is the direct observation from orbiting spacecraft. This has been used extensively, starting with the Mariner 9 mission in 1971. Mariner 9 was able to map over 2/3 of the Martian surface and found evidence of water patterns, including dust storms. However, this method has its limitations, as it can only observe the planet from a great height and cannot get close enough to study the atmosphere in detail. Another method that has been used is sending landers and rovers to the surface of Mars. This has been done several times, most notably by the Mars Pathfinder mission in 1997. While this allowed for direct study of the Martian surface, it still could not provide detailed information about the atmosphere. Currently, there are 3 probes working on Mars. One Chinese probe named Zhurong and 2 US probes, Curiosity and Perseverance, which are equipped with a number of instruments designed to study the Martian atmosphere in more detail. It will be some time before the results of these studies are known, but they could provide invaluable insights into the habitability of Mars. There are many plans for future Martian expeditions, but one of the most ambitious is SpaceX's plan to colonize Mars by 2030. This is a joint effort by SpaceX and NASA to send humans to Mars and establish a permanent settlement there. The plan includes several launches of spacecraft carrying supplies and equipment, as well as humans to Mars. The first phase of the plan is to establish a base camp on Mars and then eventually expand outwards to create a full-fledged colony. There are many challenges to this plan, but SpaceX and NASA are confident that it's achievable. If successful, this would be an incredible accomplishment for humanity and would open up a whole new world of exploration. The destiny of humans has always been to become an interstellar species. Mars is the first step towards it, and all the research and future plans are just a humble beginning. JWST has proven to be a ray of hope, not just in the sense of extraterrestrial life, but also in terms of uniting everyone to achieve something great. We should all look up to the stars and dream big. Who knows, maybe one day our dreams will come true.